You'd Love It by Rosemary Baldry of Winmalee, 2777. Narrated by Janine Penfold. Millie immigrated to Australia in her 60s. She smiled, remembering her hesitation when her daughter married an Australian. He's kind, hard-working, and you're well matched. But why couldn't you have fallen for a nice English chap? Life would be so much simpler. Now, sitting on the sunny veranda of her retirement villa, waiting for her son-in-law John, she was glad life had taken such an unexpected turn. She loved her life in Australia, and particularly family Sunday lunches, a tradition she'd grown up with. Toot toot! Not like John to make such a row on a Sunday of all days. Then she saw the P-plates and realised her grandson Michael was driving. He was out of the car, on the veranda in a few quick strides and giving her a bear hug. Almost as quickly, her friends arrived to greet the young man they'd watched grow up. Over lunch, Michael told her he was going to Japan for his gap year. Japan? Aren't there other places you can go? Lots of places, Nana, but I want to go back to Japan. The 2 weeks I spent there in year 10 whet my appetite. I don't know much about Japan. You'd love it. Mum and Dad are coming for a visit while I'm there. You could come with them. No, not Japan. I can't speak the language. What would I do all day? And goodness knows what I'd eat. I'm sure we could find you something to eat, Mum. Her daughter was serving dessert. Let's talk about it. You don't need to decide now. 2002 came too quickly, and with it Michael's departure. Postcards arrived at Millie's retirement village showing Shinto shrines, ancient castles surrounded by cherry blossoms, and magnificent lush gardens set on lakes. Reading Michael's letters. My host family are kind and look after me well. Host mum insists I keep my room tidy. Small houses here, so everything has to be in its place. Millie chuckled, recalling her daughter's words. Wonderful son, only failing is his untidiness. While Michael was away, the family welcomed a Japanese exchange student. Millie took to him straight away. Koji was such a polite young man who put his hands together and bowed to her. One Sunday over family lunch, Koji presented her with an exquisite handcrafted invitation to a Japanese tea ceremony at the school, hosted by the exchange students. Millie loved the ceremony, and especially the grace and quiet charm of the young Japanese girls who dressed in traditional kimonos served tea to their guests. The tea, different from her English breakfast tea, was not served with milk. She breathed in its clean, refreshing aroma and savoured its smooth, mellow flavour. The young ladies served delicacies which appealed to Millie's sweet tooth, although she reluctantly decided one chewy rice cake sticking to her dentures was enough. After the ceremony, some young people performed traditional dances while others played Japanese drums accompanied by bamboo flutes and oboes. Millie, entranced by the rich, clear, slightly ethereal sounds, applauded loudly and was disappointed when the performance ended. With the formalities over, guests mingled with the exchange students. Millie's face glowed with pride when Koji introduced her to his friends as Nana Millie, my host grandmother. A few weeks later, over Sunday lunch, Koji gave her another handwritten invitation. Well, this is right up my street. Millie clapped her hands in delight. No, not your street, at the school. Koji hastened to amend any misunderstanding. Oh, my dear boy, Millie giggled like a schoolgirl. Up my street means it's something I really like. I've enjoyed flower arranging all my life. Ikebana is a form of floral art I've never tried. The school followed up the successful Ikebana demonstration by inviting the community to an origami workshop. Keen on any form of craft, Millie was rushing to catch the bus and slipped, spraining her wrist. "The pain in my wrist is not as sharp as my pain at missing the origami treat," she told her daughter. Time for the students to return to Japan approached, and Millie, keen to repay their hospitality, enlisted the help of some of her friends from the village. The students arrived at the village to an Australian afternoon tea, hosted by Millie and her helpers. Bone china cups, saucers and matching plates waited on tables adorned with lace tablecloths and floral arrangements. "Welcome. Everyone in the village is here, and they've baked their favourite Aussie treats. Look! Lamingtons, pavlovas, scones." Millie's words tumbled so quickly the students could hardly keep up. "And Bill's going to show you how to play the gum leaf. He's brought plenty of spares." It wasn't long before the sounds of music, dancing and laughter echoed around the village. The students loved playing the pianola, pretending they had suddenly become gifted pianists. As the afternoon drew to a close, Koji spoke on behalf of the students. "I speak my best Aussie slang for you. Thank you for a great arvo. Sorry we gotta shoot through. We sad to leave Straya next week." Students delighted their hosts by walking around bowing to each resident. Bob piped their guests out on his gum leaf, accompanied by loud applause from their hosts. Millie said goodbye to Koji over Sunday lunch, but couldn't resist joining her family the next morning to wave the students off. As they boarded the bus, one of the girls handed her a red origami crane. "Goodbye, Nana Millie. Sorry you miss origami workshop. I make this for you." Millie ran her fingers over the satin smoothness of the delicately folded paper. "Please come visit Michael in Japan. I take you to meet my grandmother. She origami master." The lump in her throat made it difficult for Millie to speak as she hugged the young woman. Tears flowed as the bus pulled out. Millie waved frantically and called, "See you in Japan." The end.